So the next, in my opinion, the next steps that could possibly happen, and I'll go from what would be okay to what I think would be amazing, would be to have an event based around some painting of actual buildings in the neighborhood. Painting plywood is okay, but I could tell you that I wouldn't want to do that. Just because painting a building, it's like, I don't know, it's the real thing, I guess. You don't want to take it out of that. That would be good. What would be great would be to have a wall, either a property owner or on city property, that you are allowed to just go and paint. Because it's great to have an event and go and paint, but then it's not realistic to think of the kids who are going out and spray painting that's gonna satisfy them. When I first started spray painting, there was many buildings all over Toronto that had, for lack of a better term, lackadaisical owners who just didn't really care, and they just let you go and paint. And one of them was Exclusive Paints, which has just been whitewashed now, and Heel Wall, which has been primarily totally filled up and only gets painted once a year. And there was, let's say, a half a dozen places you could go and paint. And you could cycle through those, and the kids can only afford so much spray paint, and then you've got a permission place and you can go and do it, but you don't have any left over. And that's, in my opinion, that's what works best. Somewhere where you can go and spontaneously paint. An event is good, but having a location like that would be amazing. Yeah, or 8, all over the city, right? Not just one.
May 27th?
Well, you know what? There's a PS2 Kensington's happening May 27th, the first one.
Yeah.
So maybe that could be a good time to have that first event.
Yeah.
If we could get some owners and business owners together to say, along with other people volunteers. Yeah, and let's maybe make that the first event for Kensington. Clean up. Maybe clean up whatever.
Do they wonder about anything illegally or?
Yeah, you'll get questions like, isn't this illegal? And luckily, because I've been doing this for so long, and I know people like Scott and people who work in the city, I can say I've worked with the city for almost 9 years now, and it's not illegal to have this done. Not every bylaw officer knows that, and they may try and fine you. If they do, give me a call and I'll advocate on your behalf and they will drop it. If that doesn't happen, I'll come and roll it up for you.
You have to prepare the surface now, for instance?
That's what I tell people.
Okay, and they themselves have to prepare it for the artist, or do you prepare the surface?
Yeah, I mean, you roll up primer, but it's funny because a wall, let's say for example across the street where it's all that wood that's chipping off, the right primer to use, I would even tell the building owner, if you want me to use wood ceiling exterior primer, you buy it. If not, I'm going to roll up latex and it's going to chip off in 3 years. But if you let me paint it every 6 months, then you don't have to worry about that anyway. But I mean, I'm at the point in my sort of graffiti life where I paint a half a dozen times a year. I enjoy it, but...
Are you saying you're going to retire?
I'm never going to retire. But it's, for me, it's not about competition, but for a lot of people who are active in the graffiti community, there's a huge element of competition, so.
Because that corner would be really great, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Because that's really
What does the city allow you to paint on their property? Like I was thinking of the washroom down here. That would be a great spot just to go.
It is so hard to paint a city building. You have no idea.
I can understand why.
It's almost impossible. The only way that you can do it is by pleading ignorance after the fact and then hoping that they'll paint not on camera.